Alright, what was that episode, bro? I don't mean this in like a negative way. It was just pure insanity, okay? It was pure insanity and pure nonsense. And what else could I have even expected as somebody who hasn't read the manga and hasn't read this fight and really didn't know anything about this fight beforehand except for like a meteor showing up? What can you really expect when you put somebody like KENPACHI, who is the definition of the unstoppable force, up against somebody like Gremmy? Really isn't like the immovable object, but he's close enough because he has the power of friggin' imagination. You put somebody as broken as KENPACHI up against someone as broken as Gremmy, and you just get pure enjoyment. That's what this episode is. If I could put one word to describe it, it's enjoyment. If I could put two, it would be pure enjoyment, like I said before, but we're going with one word. Crazy fight, super well animated. Pierriot, you done it again. I said it in my previous Bleach video about this arc. This studio just keeps elevating when it comes to these episodes. Each episode that follows the last one is better in almost every way, but I'm talking specifically about animation here. The previous one, the one about Byakuya and Rukia, was going to be a tough one to beat because they went off for that episode, but they went off for this one too. They definitely beat it. I think it could be a toss-up depending on what your likes are. Like, if you like KENPACHI, you're probably going to like this episode and its animation more, but if you like Rukia and Byakuya and you like F, then you're probably going to like that episode more. But for me, I like this episode more, not only because it has KENPACHI and the power of imagination, but Gremmy is voiced by a Demon Slayer alumni, Tanjiro himself. I knew the voice as soon as I heard it. It was kind of like with F in the previous episode. I sort of had an idea of who I thought was voicing that character because of the stuff that I had watched in the past, SAO and Demon Slayer. But as soon as I heard Gremmy's voice, I was like, that's Tanjiro. And I am so glad that they got a voice actor of that quality to voice Gremmy for this episode. And this is what I mean when I say that you can kind of go back and forth with episode 6 and episode 7, because they're neck and neck in terms of quality. But with all that said, let me actually just dive into this episode because I really want to just break it down from start to finish. It's insanity, and it deserves that respect. It deserves at least that much. So this episode picks up where the previous one left off. So we're not starting out immediately with KENPACHI versus Gremmy. Instead, we're starting out with Lee versus Yachiru. And I say that name kind of weirdly because this character is just weird to me. For the longest time, like ever since she was introduced, she's always just been an anomaly. She's so strange. And it's like she doesn't feel pain, it looks like, and her sword, her Zanpakuto, and her Shikai are just incredibly different from everything else that you've seen before. Like, it's weird, I don't get it, but hey, she kinda took down Lee. I mean, not really, she did land a hit on that character, and that character is actually one that I'd never even heard of before, even while I was playing Bleach Brave Souls, and I was kind of getting spoiled on this arc because I was playing that game. Like, I didn't really know that that character was even a thing, and it turns out he really kind of isn't because he was just a product of Gremmy's imagination, and in the first 5 minutes of the episode, he's just killed. Kinda like the Vizards. Oh my gosh, or the Vizards, however you prefer. Gremmy appeared inside the barrier, and the healer, I can't remember her name for the life of me, my bad, the one with the silver hair was like, get out of there. She was screaming. Great voice acting performance by her as well. But she was screaming at that dude to get out, and he was like, don't worry about it, okay? It's fine. Don't worry about the two behind me. They're already dead. I killed them ages ago. But then he focuses his efforts on Yachiru, and he uses the power of imagination to turn her bones into cookies. And this is one of the things about the power of imagination that I can't quite understand, specifically when it comes to this character. Like, if you have the ability to turn people's bones into cookies, why didn't you do the same thing to KENPACHI? Is there just like a level of strength that KENPACHI has that you can't quite reach with your imagination? Or was it just because KENPACHI kind of goaded you into like proving that you were actually the strongest and you didn't want to do something as crafty and tricky as that because it would kind of take away from the win? I'm not quite too sure why he didn't do that. It's probably one of those. But yeah, the power of imagination, it's always been one of those powers that like is seemingly overpowered, but like there's so many limits that are put onto it because you can only focus in on so many things at one given time before you're overloaded or you lose focus or somebody puts an idea or a thought in your head that messes you up. And you know, when it's done like that, I actually really like it. I'm so glad that they did that, because if they just said that this dude had the straight up power of imagination with no limits and KENPACHI beat him, I would have been like, all right. Also, when it comes to Gremmy, his attitude, like, I like how he evolved over the episode. He was really just overconfident and nonchalant, but then he really got into it. I like it when a really energetic character can make a character like Gremmy come out of their shell and really try and do something. It's always awesome to see, and again, when you get Tanjiro's voice actor to pull that off, bro, chef's kiss. But it was interesting that it almost seemed like Gremmy didn't really care about Yuha Bak, because when he unleashed that meteor upon KENPACHI, he was saying that it was going to destroy and kill everyone and he would be the only one left standing. It's just interesting to me. I know not all of the people that work under Yuha Bak are basically the same as Jukram and they like worship him to a T. I know that's not the case, but to just see someone have no respect or really no care for Yuha Bak, and that is a Stern Rider, it's interesting, like I said. And now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of just went completely off the rails. I just stopped like breaking down the episode and going in sequential order. You're gonna have to forgive me for that one. This video, unlike the past couple, is not scripted because I just saw the episode and I said, you know what, let me just sit down and record because this is way too hype. But let's progress on from the meteor. I mean, he did do the guns and there was a really cool action sequence before that and all that. All the action was great. You got KENPACHI diving into the rock to save his assistant. I'm just gonna call her the assistant. He breaks out of the rock, the guns come up, he flips the rock up. Dude, it's all awesome, okay? But then when we go on from there, we go past the meteor, and then Gremmy literally puts this dude in outer space, and KENPACHI survives it anyway. He's in outer space, and it looks like he's completely incapacitated. He's screaming with pain, and then he just, like, tears open, I don't even know, like the sky, like the dimension. He does that and cuts Gremmy in half, and then Gremmy jumps all over him and like sets off a nuke, but none of it does anything because he's the KENPACHI. Coolest title in anime, by the way. Can I just say that? But after that, Gremmy has one more trick up his sleeve. He gets like super big, and it's implied that he became the very thing that he wanted to destroy, so he essentially defeated himself. But Gremmy says, no, that's not actually the case. The implications are false. You're just that guy. That's essentially how the fight ends. Gremmy throws literally everything he can at this dude, and it just isn't enough, because KENPACHI Zaraki can cut down anything, and he does. Bro, that meteor slicing. But yeah, bro, insane episode. Power of imagination versus the KENPACHI. Everything that you ever could have wanted is here in this episode. Pierriot, you done it again. And I can't wait for the next one, because I feel like in the next episode, we're gonna finally see Ichigo return. And when he comes back, gonna be just as cool as when KENPACHI returned. By the way, real quick, before I close this video out, why did it take KENPACHI like 2 hours to get to the battlefield? Was the fight with Unohana taking place at the exact same time as the Stern Rider invaded the Serete and put that bubble around it? Was that what was happening, or was something else going on? Was it just taking him a while to get back? It took him 2 hours to get back to the battlefield. I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below how you're feeling about this episode. Was it all that you wanted it to be? My manga readers and for my anime onlys, was it as epic as I'm saying that it is? Are you with me with it being the best episode of this core? Let me know. Turn that notification bell on, by the way. I don't know if I said that before, but yeah.